नमस्कार दोस्तों, मैं राघवेंद्र प्रताप सिंह स्वागत करता हूं आप सभी का स्क्वायर रूट एकेडमी में। आज मैं यहां पर गेट 2020 प्रीवियस ईयर में पूछे गए क्वेश्चंस का सॉल्यूशन प्रोवाइड करने की कोशिश करूंगा। तो देखते हैं, मैंने पहला क्वेश्चन लिया है, क्वेश्चन नंबर 4। एंड एक बार क्वेश्चन को अच्छा से पढ़ते हैं, उसके बाद इसके सॉल्यूशन पर जाते हैं। सो कंसीडर द फॉलोइंग स्टेटमेंट्स। फर्स्ट स्टेटमेंट, log of absolute value of z, where z is a complex number, is harmonic on c minus 0. The second statement is log of absolute value of z has harmonic conjugate on c minus 0. Then there are four options A, B, C, D. A is both first and second are true. B, first is true but second is false. C, first is false but second is true. And D, both first and second are false. So before moving for the solution of this question, I would like to introduce some terminologies like harmonic function and harmonic conjugate. I hope everyone knows that harmonic function and harmonic conjugate, but do we really know the definition of harmonic function, and do we really know the definition of harmonic conjugate, and what is the relation between analytic function and harmonic conjugate? So here I have mentioned some definitions. The first definition is harmonic function. So let's read the definition carefully. A real valued function h of two real variable x and y is said to be harmonic in a given domain of the xy plane if throughout the domain it has continuous partial derivatives of the first and second order and satisfies the partial differential equation hxx at x comma y plus hyy at x comma y equal to 0, known as Laplace equation. एक बार हिंदी में बता देता हूँ क्या बोल रहा है कि कोई भी फंक्शन है जो हार्मोनिक फंक्शन तब बोला जाएगा इफ इट इज ऑफ टू वेरिएबल, और आई कैन से दैट अ टू वेरिएबल फंक्शन इज सेड टू बी हार्मोनिक if it has continuous partial order derivatives of first as well as second order and it satisfies Laplacian equation, then I can say that it is going to be a harmonic function, right? And harmonic conjugate. So let's read the definition of harmonic conjugate. What it is saying, given two function u x comma y and v x comma y are harmonic in a domain D, and that their first order partial derivative satisfies the Cauchy-Riemann equations. Cauchy-Riemann equations we know ux is equal to vy and vx is equal to minus times uy throughout the domain D. Then v is said to be harmonic conjugate of u. तो यहाँ पर क्या बता रहा है, एक बार हिंदी में फिर से बता दे रहा हूँ कि कोई भी फंक्शन है u एंड v, दो फंक्शंस हमें दे रखे हैं। अगर हमें बोलना है कि v इज हार्मोनिक कंजुगेट ऑफ u, v इज हार्मोनिक कंजुगेट ऑफ u, then first of all they should be harmonic. First of all they should be harmonic. It means what? They should have continuous partial order derivative of first order and second order, and they should satisfy Laplace equation. After that, if u and v satisfies Cauchy-Riemann equation in this way, then you can say that v is said to be harmonic conjugate of u, right? So is it always same if v is harmonic conjugate of u? Can I always say that u is going to be harmonic conjugate of v? So answer is, in general it is not true. So why it is not true? We will see one example where if v is a harmonic conjugate of u, but u is not harmonic conjugate of v, and we will see what is the relation when I can say that if v is harmonic conjugate of u, then when I can say that u is harmonic conjugate of v, right? So we will see by one example, but before that, here one known thing that we know that if a function fz u plus iota times vxy is analytic in a domain D, then the real valued function u and v are harmonic in that domain, also satisfy CR equations in D. हिंदी में एक बार बता देता हूँ कि हमें पता है कि अगर हमारे पास कोई एनालिटिक फंक्शन है तो वो क्या करता है, उसके जो रियल और इमेजनरी पार्ट होते हैं वो हार्मोनिक होते हैं, और रियल और इमेजनरी पार्ट क्या करते हैं, सीआर इक्वेशंस को सेटिस्फाई करते हैं। सीआर इक्वेशन हमें पता है क्या कि ux इज इक्वल टू वी वाई एंड वी एक्स इज इक्वल टू माइनस टाइम्स यू वाई। अगर कोई फंक्शन एनालिटिक है तो उसके पास सी आर इक्वेशन सेटिस्फाई होंगी उसमें फॉर द करस्पॉन्डिंग टू रियल एंड इमेजनरी पार्ट, and they will be harmonic. We know that this relation. Now we want to see that what is the relation between an analytic function, and harmonic conjugate u and v. So this relation is given by this theorem. What it is saying, a function fz u plus iota times v is analytic in a domain D if and only if v is harmonic conjugate of u. Or the same thing I can say in other words, u has a harmonic conjugate namely v. तो हिंदी में फिर से बता देता हूं क्या बोल रहा है कि कोई भी फंक्शन एफ जेड इक्वल टू यू प्लस आयोटा टाइम्स वी, जहां पर u रियल पार्ट है, प्लीज नोट डाउन, ये इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट है यहाँ पर कि u रियल पार्ट है और v इमेजनरी पार्ट है, तब फंक्शन जो है एफ जेड इज इक्वल टू यू प्लस आई वी जो है एनालिटिक होगा इफ एंड ओनली इफ, केवल और केवल तब जब इमेजनरी पार्ट मीन्स v is harmonic conjugate of u, or I can say that in other words u has a harmonic conjugate namely v, but you cannot say that u is harmonic conjugate of v. That thing is not true, because we will see that if u is harmonic conjugate of v, then we cannot always say that v is harmonic conjugate of u, right? So we will see by one example, and here I have mentioned that point in note. The following example shows that if v is harmonic conjugate of u in some domain, it is not in general true that u is harmonic conjugate of v there. For example, here it is an contradictory example. Whatever I was trying to say, suppose that u is nothing but x square minus y square and v is nothing but 2xy. Now u and v are two functions and function of two variables x and y. Since these are the real and imaginary component respectively of the entire function fz is equal to z square. एक बार हिंदी में इसको एक्सप्लेन करने की कोशिश करता हूं मैं. ये क्या बोल रहा है कि हमें ये देखना है कि u और v हमारे पास दिए हुए हैं. अब हमें ये देखना है कि क्या v जो है वो u का हार्मोनिक कंजुगेट है कि नहीं है. तो उसके लिए हमें क्या करना होगा, अगर हम ये रिजल्ट लगाना चाहते हैं, दो काम कर सकते हैं, या तो हम ये रिजल्ट लगा सकते हैं या फिर ये वाली डेफिनेशन सेटिस्फाई कराओ. तो बेटर है कि अगर हम ये रिजल्ट लगाना चाह रहे हैं तो हम क्या कर सकते हैं कि हमें एक ऐसा फंक्शन ढूंढना होगा जिसका रियल पार्ट ये बने और इमेजिनरी पार्ट ये बने और वो फंक्शन एनालिटिक हो. तो डायरेक्टली हम इस रिजल्ट से बोल देंगे कि जो v होगा, इमेजिनरी पार्ट होगा, वो हार्मोनिक कंजुगेट होगा किसका, रियल पार्ट का. सो अब यहाँ से क्लियरली आप देख सकते हो कि अगर हमारे पास एक फंक्शन है एफ जेड इज इक्वल टू जेड स्क्वायर वेयर जेड इज नथिंग बट कॉम्प्लेक्स नंबर एक्स प्लस आई वाई. सो इफ यू विल एक्सप्लिट दिस जेड in terms of x and y, then you will get real part this and imaginary part this. And as we know that fz is equal to z square is analytic everywhere because it is a polynomial and polynomial is analytic everywhere in C. So I got to know that I have a function fz such that the real part of fz is this, imaginary part is this. So fz is analytic, it means I can say that imaginary part of this function is going to be harmonic conjugate of u, or the same thing I can say that u has harmonic conjugate namely v. But can we say that the harmonic conjugate of u is v? No, we cannot say. Why? You can see, if you can say that u is harmonic conjugate of v, then corresponding to this the function v plus iota times u should be analytic. Whatever the function you will get, suppose it is gz, that function should be analytic, right? But you can see v is nothing but 2xy and iota times u is nothing but x square minus y square, and this function is not analytic anywhere. So if this function is not analytic anywhere, I cannot say that u is harmonic conjugate of v, right? So with this example I can say that in general if v is harmonic conjugate of u, then I cannot say always that u is going to be harmonic conjugate of v. Now again the question is, when I can say that if u is harmonic conjugate of v, and if u is harmonic conjugate of v, so that I can say that v is also going to be harmonic conjugate of u. When I can say that, so we will see this thing here. That thing I'm giving it as a homework, otherwise you think over it and try to prove it, so you will get the better idea what it is saying. Suppose that v is a harmonic conjugate of u in a domain D, and also that u is harmonic conjugate of v in D. Means what it is saying, v is harmonic conjugate of u in a domain D, and u is harmonic conjugate of v in a domain D. Then so how it follows that both u and v must be constant throughout the domain D. एक बार हिंदी में बताता हूं क्या बोल रहा है कि u अगर v का हार्मोनिक कंजुगेट है, और आपको पता चला कि v भी u का हार्मोनिक कंजुगेट है, u का हार्मोनिक कंजुगेट v है और v का हार्मोनिक कंजुगेट अगर u है, तो ये चीज तभी पॉसिबल होगी इफ एंड ओनली इफ u एंड v both are constant, राइट. सो एक रिलेशन तो हमें ये मिल गया कि हाँ हम इस टाइम पर बोल सकते हैं कि अगर u और v बोथ आर कांस्टेंट फंक्शन है, दैट टाइम आई कैन से दैट इफ u इज हार्मोनिक कंजुगेट ऑफ v, देन v इज गोइंग टू बी हार्मोनिक कंजुगेट ऑफ u. अब अगेन अनदर क्वेश्चन, if u and v are not constant, then what is the relation between u and v? So here the second point, you also try to prove it, so that if v is harmonic conjugate of u in a domain D, if and only if minus times u is harmonic conjugate of v in T. फिर से हिंदी में बताता हूं मैं, क्या बोल रहा है कि अगर v जो है u का हार्मोनिक कंजुगेट है, तो ये ट्रू होगा इफ एंड ओनली इफ जब माइनस टाइम्स u है वो हार्मोनिक कंजुगेट होगा, सॉरी माइनस टाइम्स v का, सॉरी v is harmonic conjugate of u if and only if u is harmonic conjugate of minus u is harmonic conjugate of u. So this is the relation. When u and v both are not constant, that time this will be the relation, and if u and v both are constant, that time this will be the relation, right? So I hope you got the clear idea when I can say that the converse part is also true. And if you want to prove this thing, the second result, here it is a hint, that suggestion. Observe that the function fz is equal to u plus iota times v is analytic in D if and only if minus times iota times fz is analytic there. So how this hint is helpful? Because of this result only, because of this theorem. You try to understand this theorem, what it is saying, because v is harmonic conjugate of u is totally related with the analyticity of this function, right? So with the help of this you can prove it. So now I think we can move the solution of the question, and if you have any doubt regarding these definitions, you can ask in the comment section, so I will try to reply as soon as possible. Now we can come for the question. Now question, what it is, they're saying first statement, log of absolute value of z is harmonic on C minus 0. So I can take u is nothing but I can take log of absolute value of z. We know that z is nothing but x plus iy. So log of under root of x square plus y square. Absolute value of z is this. So this is u. Now if you know the function of two variables, then from here you can see u is a function which has continuous partial order derivatives of first order and second order except 0. So okay, it is saying at 0 point is not in the domain, and it will also satisfy the Laplace equation. How? You can see, first of all I will try to calculate ux, means del u by del x. So what is del u by del x? 1 upon log x is root 1 by x, so x square plus y square, again you will get 1 upon 2 root x, so root x is 2 root x, x square plus y square, and x square is, you will get 2x, so 2 will cancel out. What you will get, ux is equal to x by x square plus y square. You will get this. Now again try to calculate uxx, means the derivative of ux again with respect to x. So what I will get? X square plus y square whole square, and here you will get x square plus, by the numerator and denominator rule, x1 minus x times into 2x. So you will get uxx is y square minus x square upon x square plus y square whole square. You will get uxx. Similarly, if you will try to calculate uyy, then you can calculate or you can cross verify x square minus y square upon x square plus y square whole square. Right, now you try to add both uxx plus uyy, you will get equal to 0. So u has continuous partial order derivatives of first and second order, as well as it satisfies Laplace equation. So I can say that u is harmonic in that domain. So the first statement is true. So wherever in these options where it is saying the first statement is false, so this here it is saying first and second both are false, so this cannot be answer. Here first is false, this C also cannot be, and here it is saying first is true but second is false, both first and second are true. So again we need to go for the second statement analysis. Once we will get the analysis of second statement, then we can choose the right option between A and B, right? So the second statement, what it is saying, log of absolute value of z has harmonic conjugate on C minus 0, means this u has harmonic conjugate on this domain or not. So again I will use this theorem. What it is saying, when I can say that v is harmonic conjugate of u if there is a function such that fz is equal to u plus iv is analytic. So here I am looking a harmonic conjugate, you should have harmonic conjugate, namely v, when once I will get the imaginary part corresponding to that function fz such that the real part is u itself, and that function should be analytic. So for that what I need to do, yes, excuse me, yeah. So here yes, so what I am looking for the function v such that u has harmonic conjugate, namely v. So I know that a function log z, suppose I have a function log z which is nothing but I am calling it as fz. This log z I can write as log of r e की power iota and this capital theta, where theta is the principal argument. This I can write it log of r plus iota times capital theta, right? This is nothing but log of r is nothing but absolute value of z plus iota times theta is argument of z. Now here we got it one function fz such that this part is real and here it is imaginary part v. So here you can see, again read the second statement, it is very tricky. What it is saying, log of absolute value of z has harmonic conjugate on C minus 0. It means I have to find an imaginary part for a function fz such that this part is going to be a real and u plus iv should be analytic. So I got a function here fz is equal to u plus iv. What is rest? If this function fz is analytic, then I can say that yes, u has harmonic conjugate which is v and in the domain. But what is the domain? The domain is C minus singleton 0. But what about this function? This function we know that log of z, and if you know the proper definition of this logarithmic function in the complex analysis, then you will get to know that this function log of fz has singularities on the negative x-axis, has singularities on the negative x-axis. Why? Because this argument of z, because this argument of z is not continuous, because this argument of z is not, where it is not continuous, not continuous on negative axis, x-axis, negative x-axis. Why? Because we know that the argument of z is lies between minus pi to pi, where pi is included, right? So if you will come any point, you will pick here, if you come from that side you will get pi, and here if you come from this side you will get limit minus pi. So left hand limit is not equal to right hand limit, that's why at this negative x-axis this part is not continuous. So I can say that this complete thing is not going to be differentiable, that's why this function is not going to be differentiable, that's why at these points function is not going to be analytic. So we didn't get a v such that u plus iv is analytic in this domain. It means u doesn't have harmonic conjugate which I am calling v in this domain. So the second statement is false. I hope you got it. I hope you got it. Even though if you are having any doubt, so second statement is false, right? So the first is true but second is false, means b is true, and here it is saying both first and second are true, so this one is false. Still, if you have any doubt, you can comment in comment section, and I will try to resolve your doubt. So let's move for the next question. एक बार इसी चीज़ को मैं अगर हिंदी में बताना चाहूँ तो बता देता हूँ कि हमें करना क्या था, कि ये बोल रहा था कि u जो है हैज़ हार्मोनिक कॉन्जुगेट इन दिस डोमेन और नॉट. तो हमें करना क्या था, हमें एक ऐसा इमेजिनरी पार्ट, एक फंक्शन v ढूंढना था इस तरीके से कि अगर कोई फंक्शन बनाए एफ जेड सच दैट u को रियल पार्ट रखें और v को इमेजिनरी पार्ट रखें, और दो फंक्शन क्या हो जाए, हमारा एनालिटिक हो जाए. तो हमें फंक्शन तो मिल गया, फंक्शन क्या मिला कि log ऑफ z मिल गया, जिसका रियल पार्ट जो है वो u बन रहा है, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, और इमेजिनरी पार्ट आर्ग्यूमेंट ऑफ z बन रहा है, ये फंक्शन है. अगर आप यहाँ पर प्रिंसिपल आर्ग्यूमेंट नहीं लोगे तो ये फंक्शन ही नहीं बनेगा, तो हमें प्रिंसिपल आर्ग्यूमेंट लेना पड़ेगा. ठीक है, अब दिक्कत क्या हो रही थी, अगर ये एफ जेड हमारा एनालिटिक हो जाता, अगर एफ जेड एक बार एनालिटिक हो जाता तो हम क्या बोल देते कि v जो है इमेजिनरी पार्ट जो होगा रियल पार्ट का क्या होगा, हार्मोनिक कंजुगेट होगा. या मैं ऐसे बोल सकता था कि u जो है वो हार्मोनिक कंजुगेट रख रहा है, जो कि क्या है, v है, राइट. v का हार्मोनिक कंजुगेट u है, और v इज हार्मोनिक कंजुगेट ऑफ u, मीन्स u का जो हार्मोनिक कंजुगेट है v है, या फिर ऐसे भी बोल सकते हैं u हैज हार्मोनिक कंजुगेट ऑफ v. प्लीज ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट आई एम ट्राइंग टू से, डोंट गेट कंफ्यूज, राइट. तो अब करना क्या था, यही चीज कि हमें ऐसे मिल जाना चाहिए था एक फंक्शन एफ जेड इज इक्वल टू यू प्लस आयोटा टाइम्स वी सच दैट दिस फंक्शन शुड बी एनालिटिक. तब आप बोल पाते यस u के पास एक हार्मोनिक कंजुगेट रख रहा है जो कि v है. बट हमें वो फंक्शन मिला ही नहीं, ये फंक्शन तो मिला बट ये फंक्शन एनालिटिक नहीं हुआ. एनालिटिक नहीं हुआ इसलिए हम नहीं बोल पाए कि v इज हार्मोनिक कंजुगेट ऑफ u, राइट. सो लेट्स मूव फॉर द सेकेंड क्वेश्चन. This question, it is question number 14 and it is from partial differential equation. Let's read the question very carefully and then we'll go for its solution. It's very easy question and totally based on the formula. It is nothing but the parabolic equation or known as heat equation, right, in one dimension and unsteady also with initial condition fx, right. So let's read the question. Let k such that r cross 0 to infinity to r be a function such that the solution of this initial value problem, del u by del t equal to del 2u by del x2, and this is the initial condition given, and x belongs to r, means what is the domain, is infinite, means minus infinity to plus infinity, minus infinity to plus infinity, where t is greater than 0 is given by, the solution of this problem is given by this. For all bounded continuous functions f, then the value of integration over r, means integration over minus infinity to plus infinity, k of x comma t dx, you need to calculate what is the value. So if you know the formula of this initial value problem or heat equation, first of all I will try to compare with the original format. Del u by del t is equal to some k square or c square times del 2 u by del x2. So what is the value of k? K value, I can say that its value is 1, right? K value is 1. Now we know that the solution of this parabolic or heat equation, if the domain is infinite, then it is given by u of x comma t equal to 1 upon under root 4 pi k t, where k is 1, we got to know that, and integration minus infinity to plus infinity e to the power minus x minus, e to the power x minus y whole square, x minus y whole square upon 4 kt into fy, this f, I am referring with this f, fy dy, right? This is the, or you can cross verify from here also, I have written already, u of x comma t 1 upon 4 pi kt minus infinity to plus infinity e to the power minus x minus y whole square 4 kt fy dy. Here k is 1, right? K value is 1. Now the solution of this problem in this question is given by this, and we know that the solution of this problem is given by like this also. So it means if both are equal, this uxt and this uxt both are equal, so if both are equal, then what, if you will compare, then what value of x minus y comma t you will get? What is the value? The value of x minus y comma t I am going to get 4 pi kt into e to the power minus x minus y whole square upon 4 kt, right? And now once I got it, this k, here the integration of k over with respect to x it is asking, but here k x comma t, and we have k x minus y comma t. So simply I need to do what? Replace x minus y with x. Simply you need to replace x minus y with x. So once I will replace, then what I am going to get? I will get k of x comma t equal to 1 upon 4 pi kt square root e to the power minus x square, x minus y simply replace with x, upon 4 kt, and they are asking the integration of this k. So you just integrate, nothing else, simply integrate over r, means minus infinity to plus infinity over r with respect to x. With respect to x I can integrate. So if I will integrate, then what I am going to get? Yeah. So what I will get if you will integrate? So simply here you can see what is the substitution. What will be the substitution? Substitution is going to be, if I will put x square, x by under root 4 kt, then you can see I can solve this. So you simply substitute, put x by under root 4 kt is equal to some variable s. So if you will differentiate with respect to here, you will get dx upon 4 kt equal to ds. And you can see this is constant and limit was minus infinity to plus infinity, so limits are not going to change. So what I will get the value integration of this kxt. Yes, so what I'm going to get, integration minus infinity to plus infinity k of x comma t dx, I'm going to get minus infinity to plus infinity this thing, or I can move outside the integration because it is constant. Okay, no problem. 4 pi kt into what is dx. Dx is nothing but ds into 4 kt, and this will be nothing but e to the power, you can cross verify, e to the power here x by under root kt. So what will be the s square? So it will be nothing but simply, yes, here e to the power simply minus s square, right? So if you will do s square, what you will get, x square upon 4 kt. So e to the power minus s square into ds, right? Now here it will be cancel, 4 and t also will cancel, and k value is 1. So what I will get, 1 upon under root pi and integration minus infinite to plus infinite e to the power minus s square ds. And this is very famous result, right? In the 12th class also I think we have solved such type of questions. So this is nothing but, with the use of definite integral properties, I can prove that under root pi, or you can search on Google or you can refer any book, 12th class book, you will get its value is under root pi. It is very famous result. So under root pi upon 1 under root pi you will get 1. So the answer is 1. If you have any doubt, again you can ask in the comment box. I will try to resolve your doubt as soon as possible. Now let's move for the next question. Here question number 15, what it is saying, the number of cyclic subgroups of the quaternion group is. So the quaternion group, this is nothing but the total definition of the quaternion group, right? So how to find the total number of cyclic subgroup of the quaternion group? It is very easy or simple group Q8. We know all the properties of Q8. How many elements will be there? 1 minus 1, I minus I, j minus j, k and minus k. So total number of cyclic subgroups. So what are the cyclic subgroups? First cyclic subgroup, identity, generated by simply 1. The second cyclic subgroup is 1 comma minus 1, which is generated by minus 1. And the second cyclic group is going to be generated by 1 comma minus 1, I comma minus I, that is generated by iota. Similarly you will get two more group, 1 minus 1, j minus j, this is generated by j, like that. Lastly you will get generated by k, which will contain 1 minus 1, k minus k, because we know that identity is self inverse and minus 1 is also self inverse. Inverse of iota is minus iota, inverse of j is minus j, inverse of k is minus k, and vice versa. So we know all the properties. So these are the 5 subgroups which are going to be cyclic. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and this one, fifth one. This will contain 1 minus 1, k and minus k. So answer is 5. This is very easy question, right? If you have any doubt, again you can ask. Now next question we can move in this question. This question is really nice question, and every time you will see such type of questions they are asking in CSIR, UGC NET or GATE exam or IIT JAM, if permutation group is there. So this is nothing but the symmetric group, SN, symmetric group. So here what it is asking, the number of elements of order 3 in the symmetric group S6. So n is nothing but 6. So number of elements of order 3 in symmetric group S6. So this question I can do, we will do in two ways. The first way, with the help of formula, we know that the order of any element in Sn is nothing but the LCM of that such type of cycles. So here it is saying the number of elements of order 3. सो हमें करना क्या है कि हमें वो साइकिल्स लिखनी है जिससे हमें एलसीएम 3 मिले. तो S6 में हमें कौन कौन सी साइकिल से एलसीएम 3 मिलेगा? या तो क्या हो 3 साइकिल हो, या फिर क्या हो 1 1 1 और 3 साइकिल हो. इन दोनों में ही आपको क्या मिलेगा? एलसीएम 3 मिलेगा. तो इसके लिए फार्मूला क्या होता है, और इन दोनों का फिर टोटल अगर निकालना है तो इन दोनों में जो भी यहाँ पर फार्मूला लगाएंगे, यहाँ पर फार्मूला लगाएंगे, फिर आपको ऐड कर देना है. टोटल नंबर ऑफ एलिमेंट्स मिल जाएंगे आपको. तो क्या फार्मूला होता है कि फैक्टोरियल n विच इज नथिंग बट फैक्टोरियल 6 अपॉन इन दिस 3 कितनी बार आ रहा है? 2 बार आ रहा है, इंटू 2 फैक्टोरियल प्लस अगेन आई हैव टू अप्लाई फैक्टोरियल 6. Now here you have to look how many times 1 is coming? 3 times. So 1 to the power 3 into 3 factorial, and 3 is coming 1 time. So 3 to the power 1 into 1 factorial. Now you try to calculate. Here you will get 40. Here also you will get 40. The total answer is 80. You will get 80. And how I am writing this formula? You can prefer any book and you will get this formula, how to find number of elements of order D in Sn. So this is the formula. First of all, you have to write all the cycles in such a way such that you are getting LCM D, and after that you apply the formula at each cycle and you add all the cycles wherever you are getting LCM D. You will get total number of elements of order D in Sn. You can prefer any book. I'm not going to the details, but again this question I can solve with the help of permutation and combination concept. With the help of permutation and combination concept. So let's look at for that method also. Yes, I have 6 elements, total 6 elements, and I want to find out the order of elements, the elements of order 3. सो हमें वो साइकिल्स लिखनी है जहां पर आपको एलसीएम 3 मिल रहा है. तो करना क्या होगा आपको? पहले नंबर में A B C, राइट, 3 साइकिल, और एक D E F 3 साइकिल. तो यहां से आपको क्या मिलेगा? एलसीएम 3 मिलेगा. या तो मतलब इस टाइप के एलिमेंट्स हो. सो देयर इज वन चॉइस, फर्स्ट चॉइस इज such type, this type of elements, and the next choice is like A B C and other are 1 1 1. So that I'm not going to write, right? So from here also you will get LCM 3, from here also you will get LCM 3, and the order of such type of elements is going to be 3, right? So let's start from here. First I will do this one. I have total number of elements 6, and from 6 I want to choose 3. So 6 C3. I can arrange them into 3 factorial. Now we know that ABC, BCA and CAB, these 3 things are same, right? These 3 elements are same, they are not different. Just it is nothing but recycling. I'm writing in a recycle way, right? So I have to divide by 3. I have to divide by 3. So total again you will get here 40, right? Now in this, so first I will do up to this. So up to this what it will be? 6 C3. 6 में से मैंने 3 चूज कर लिए और फिर उनको 3 फैक्टोरियल की तरीके से अरेंज कर दिया. डिवाइड बाई 3. वाई? बिकॉज ABC, BCA, CAB all are going to be same, right? Why I am arranging in the factorial 3? Because the order matter. Like if you will write BAC, then that is going to be different. But if the order is same, that time it is not going to be different. So when it will be order same, there are 3 choices only: ABC, BCA C, A, B. In these choices, order is not changing, right? So that's why I'm dividing with 3, right? Now multiply up here to here. What I should do? I have already chosen 3 elements out of 6, so left are only 3, and again we need to choose 3. So 6 C3, again I have to arrange in 3 factorial ways and divide by 3. The same. Why I am dividing by 3? Because DEF, EFD and FDE are going to be same. And again total I have to divide by 2. The question is why? Because total number of elements are 6, A, B, C, D, E, F. So if I am writing A, B, C here, D, E, F, so they are disjoint cycle, and if they are disjoint cycle, they are going to commute, means D, E, F into A, B, C, they both are same. This one or this one are same, means they are getting the same value. So but we are counting here this one, so I have to divide by 2. So again if you will calculate, you will get 40. So this 40 plus this 40, you will get total number of elements of order 3, 80. So the answer is 80. So these are the question that I want to solve today, and I will come with next more questions in the next video. So thank you so much for watching, and if you like this video, please like it and subscribe it and share it to your all friends. So thank you so much for watching.